Hello, everybody, and welcome to another version of Showbiz Buzz with Bruno. I'm Michael Bruno, your host, and today I'm talking with the multi-talented, amazing star of stage, screen, and a legend in all of our minds, Claybourne Elder. Clay, thank you so much for taking time out and speaking with us today.
Of, of course, and thank you for that's the nicest introduction I've had. On
So,
time.
including a recording for you to use on your resume.
I appreciate
So,
it.
Clay, tell us a little bit about your cabaret show that you're bringing to Madison. If the Stars Were Mine.
Yeah. So I started writing this show about 3 years ago after I finished doing Company on Broadway. And I really wanted to make something that was somewhere between like I do stand up and I also do cabaret and I do sing. So I wanted something that was kind of between a stand up show and a cabaret show, but also that talked about some real honest things, about my life. And so I made this evening that has slowly sort of formed over the course of the last couple of years. I've been touring it now for about 2 years. And it's sort of about it's sort of about my life, but it's also kind of about the nature of goodness and what it was like to grow up as a Mormon kid in Utah and think that going off to be a performer in New York was kind of the bad thing to do. And then getting there and having a child and kind of um and then just, like showbiz stories, like stories about working with Stephen Sondheim through my early career and working on The Gilded Age on TV and things like that. So it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut of a lot of things. And the music is sort of everything from musical theater to covers of pop songs to jazz.
And you have a combo that plays with you, or an accompanist?
Just a piano. It's me and a piano. My music director travels with me everywhere to do the show with me.
So, you obviously mentioned some of your amazing stage credits. So, what was it like working with Patty LaPone? Come on, we all want to know.
You know
We
what's
want
funny
the
is
real dirt, Clay. We want the real stuff.
I say this exact thing in the show. I say like I've worked with Patty LuPone, and everyone wants me to have Patty LuPone stories. I definitely will give you Patty LuPone story, though I will tell you that mostly I just love her. Like she's so awesome, and she was so wonderful to us all as a cast in the show. She had this, it's very common to have like two dressing rooms if you're one of the stars, like because they're so small. And she
Mhm.
didn't use her second dressing room. She turned it into a bar just for the cast and crew. She like always kept it stocked with booze and snacks and wanted us all to just be there because she just wanted us all to be together. Like she wanted, she's like an old school broad in this a theater broad, where she's like, she wants the cast together, bonding and drinking.
And was this before each performance? I kind of like that.
I know. No, but it did happen during tech once. I was with her during tech, and there was one scene where it was just the two of us were off stage. Everybody else was on stage. And she was like, Clay, we're going to have a drink. And I was like, Patty, I can't do that. I can't do that. We're in the middle of a show. And she was like, you can. You can come with me. You can come with me. And I had about 3 sips of the drink, and I was like, Patty, I can't do this. She was like, fine, let's go back down. We went back downstairs.
I love it. I love it. So you have an amazing story too, which has been told many times on Seth Rudetsky's show. That can you tell us a bit about the story about what happened with your encounter with Mark
Yeah.
and how you
Yes.
got the Broadway bug?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I've told this story on This American Life and on the Kelly Clarkson show and all these things that I kind of just um it's nothing I did. It's kind of something that happened to me, which is strange. And I tell you, if you want to hear the whole story, you're gonna have to come into the show because I'll tell the whole story.
Perfect.
But essentially, I was reunited with a stranger who did something very nice for me. And it sort of inspired me moving to New York and becoming an actor, but also uh, through this kind of really crazy set of circumstances, which again, you can only hear about if you come see the show. I started a nonprofit helping people, helping Broadway become more accessible from a financial standpoint. So we partner with all these community organizations. It's called City of Strangers, the organization, and we partner with all these community groups to bring people into the theater who don't feel welcome or don't know about it or can't afford to come, but people who really, really want to be there. We're not just like giving away tickets to everybody, but we're finding these, groups of people that really want to be there but can't afford it, essentially.
That's so great because, the cost of a ticket now is, it's just astronomical. I don't know how, if you had even if you have, just wanna go by yourself and, with your partner, but imagine trying to bring a couple of kids with you and try to
Yeah,
afford a night to see a Broadway show.
yeah,
So that's such a great thing. That's such a great opportunity. I know the Overture Center has a program too where they could bring kids in, to see
amazing.
some of the touring company shows that come through the Overture Center. So,
Oh, that's incredible.
so my other question for you is that have you
Yeah.
been to Madison before this?
I've never been to Madison. This is my first time.
And have
I'm
you heard
excited.
any delicious gossip or tidbits about our fair city?
No, I've just heard that lots of people want to play the Overture Center because they say that it's such a great space and like, touring these kind of cabaret shows, like, I know a lot of people that do them, and when I'm going to a place and I know that a person has played there, I'll be like, "What was it like? What's the sound like?" And every time I've talked to somebody about it, they're like, "It's amazing. The people are so nice. They take such good care of you. The space is incredible." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited." So I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, the venue that you're in, the Capitol Theater, was an old vaudeville house, but they had restored it. It's really a lovely, lovely venue.
It's so cool. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, you're following on the footsteps of Matthew Morrison, who I just interviewed last time. He's coming into town, but by the time this airs, he will have been here. So I'll have all the good gossip for you on that
Fantastic.
show when you
Yeah,
get to
please.
your
Yeah,
answer
tell me. Uh-huh.
in November.
He's the best. Oh my gosh.
We have a,
Yeah.
a lovely, lovely time chatting with him, and basically, his concept of his cabaret show is very similar to yours, and that
Oh, really?
the stories that he tells, he does a little stand up, and he talks about of course, his time on Glee, and it's I'm so happy that people that are doing things other than coming in to do a Broadway show, get to know who the people are and get to know your backstory and get to know the history because you have a fascinating story. And the fact that, now people may only know you from the Gilded Age on HBO, but wait a minute, he was, you have Broadway credits and you worked with Sondheim. What was that like?
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. Doing cabaret and actually going to see cabaret kind of performance would be one of my favorite things to do, just because you get an insight into somebody that you may have seen as a character, you may have seen in roles before, but you get an insight into who they are. And you get to and as a performer, you get to kind of sing songs, not from a character standpoint, but from your own personal, yeah, like, and it's one of my favorite art forms. I really do love it so much.
So, did you actually ever do just traditional stand-up as a stand-up comedian, or has it always been in the venue of
I
having
did.
music as well?
No, no, I did. I used to do it. I still do it sometimes too. I still have friends who do stand up who ask me to like come and guest on their shows, and so I'll go like I did a set the other night at the Stonewall Inn because I had a friend doing a show there, and they'll like I have comedian friends that still ask me to do it. I don't like go out on the road or anything. Do that
That's a
stuff.
tough boy, that's a
That's
tough
a
one
tough.
too.
It's a tough life.
Ooh.
It's a tough life. So this is my version of that.
I love it, I love it. So, tell me a little bit more about how you went about putting this together. You said you've been doing it for a couple of years now. Do you update or do you change things as things come to you, or is it pretty much set that it's the show that you've been doing and you've honed it down to this particular set of music and stories?
It's pretty much set. It's pretty set. It changed for a while in there, but then how I started was I sat down and I was like, well, I don't just want to do a cabaret where I'm like, here's the story of my life, and I'm gonna sing some songs. So I was like, okay, well, so I sat down and I was like, okay, what are the three things I'm most scared to talk about in front of people, for things that I feel most vulnerable about? And I chose three things, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell those stories and talk about those things. Because I wanted something that was real, and something that was about something that was, yeah, real, about me. And so I started there, and then I like took those stories and then found like my some of my favorite, stories from working, from like funny things that have happened to me in Broadway shows or stage mishaps, things like that. Added those in to add some other fun things in. And then personal stories about my life too. And it's sort of as I was writing it, this comedian named Lisa Lampanelli. I don't know if you've
I
heard her.
love Lisa Lampanelli.
I love that woman so much. So I was performing the show never met her before. She reached out to me on Instagram and she was like, "Hey, I've seen some of your clips online. I would love to work with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, you're a legend." You're like, and she was like, "Can you send me a video of the show?" And so I sent her a video of the show. And she sat down with me for lunch and she showed up with 12 pages of handwritten notes about the show and not writing any jokes or anything, but she was like, "There's something funnier here. Keep writing here. You should move this section here. You should do this." And she really helped me craft it into this thing. So I, um, it's pretty set in stone now, though some things change, like it's a live performance thing. And so,
Sure.
especially Rodney, my music director, and I sometimes play around. But for the most part, we made it into like it has an arc and it has a story. Um, and so that's kind of how it came about. I owe her a lot for doing it. And actually, I'm writing a second show now. I just recorded an album of the music of this show that's going to come out in the spring. And I started writing a follow-up show to it that she's going to help me work on again.
Another great story. It is amazing how just happenstance, something that happens, and it really kind of changes the trajectory of your kind of your life and your career.
Yeah. Yes. And people who, generous people who are generous with their time and generous with their talents, who want to work and want to work with people and want to help people, is it's really incredible. I feel incredibly lucky at many times in my life to have been offered that kind of help. Or I
Cool.
try to do it to other people. We all try to do it to other people,
Yeah,
right? It's like,
you pay
like
you pay it
for
forward. Yeah.
yeah, we try to remember to do those things, help people out and stuff. So
Cool. So, a couple of quick questions.
yeah,
Now that we're caffeined up and ready. So, who's your favorite Broadway composer?
Steven Sondheim. I
How do
mean, I
you
know
know
I
the
know it's
answer to
obvious,
that?
but he's so good. But I will say one of my favorite new ones is Will Aronson, who wrote Maybe Happy Ending.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I met him when he was at NYU. I did he was getting a graduate degree in musical theater writing, and I did his like senior thesis project. And I remember being like, "This guy is unreal. He is so amazing." And then kind of nothing happened. Like he didn't really take off for a while, which, as musical theater writers
Mhm,
goes, sometimes it takes a long time.
mhm.
And then now to have him like have this huge Tony winning show on Broadway is just like makes me so happy because I think he's wildly talented. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Cool. Who would you love most that you haven't done yet to have it sing a duet with, either currently alive or somebody from the past? Who would be your bucket list person you'd want to have sing a duet with?
Audrey McDonald.
Wow, that would be
I
so
love her
holding your
so
own against
much.
Audra McDowell, that would be
Oh,
awesome.
I would never hold my own. In fact, I wouldn't sing the duet. I would just be like,
Be
this
fangirling.
gross to you singing. No, I do. I love her so much. And also, she's so surprisingly funny that I would love to sing something funny with her. I would love to find a funny song and sing it with her because she's so funny. I find her to be so clever.
Cool. If you had to create a TV show about your life, what would you call it?
TV show about my life. It almost didn't happen. It would be called It Almost Didn't Happen. And it would be about all just the very lucky mishaps that got me here.
We'll call Netflix right now and get them working on that. So, when you have moments and you actually watch TV, if you
Yes.
what's your favorite television program currently that you're
Oh
watching
my
or
God.
that you're streaming or
Okay. Well, currently, I'm definitely watching the most recent season of British Baking Show that is coming out right now because I'm a baker and I'm obsessed with it. And my son and I watch it together, and he loves it. We've been watching it since he was like 3 together, and he's hilarious because he's 8 years old and he'll be like, "That ganache isn't set." I'm like, "You're such a funny kid."
oh, it's got a soggy bottom.
I don't exactly like he's so into it. We like it's our sports. The British Baking Show is our sports. Um, Also Severance, though. I loved
Oh, yeah.
Severance, though that now it's not like we're waiting for the next season. So good. Um, oh, I'm a big like Parks and Rec was my favorite.
Love him.
Oh,
Oh,
Shrinking. Shrinking is so good. I've been listening to Amy Poehler's podcast also a lot, which is so good. Good hang. And uh yeah, Shrinking is one of my favorite shows currently too. That's so good. The cast is so amazing as well. Harrison Ford, Clients.
I
I
mean,
don't care. He's
his
so
range is incredible. Yeah.
and he's speaking of people who are wildly funny and surprising. He's so funny. Yeah, he's incredible.
Cool. What was one anecdote can you give us briefly about your appearance in Bonnie and Clyde?
You know what? I tell a story on my show.
All your stories that people have to buy a ticket for,
I
right?
know you have to buy a ticket because it is the worst thing that ever happened to me in a Broadway show happens on stage during Bonnie and Clyde, and it's a story that I tell a lot because it is just like a wildly terrible collection of things happened to me one night in that show that are very funny. So I will say lots of funny things happen, but I will say that there were a lot of that was it was a show about gunfights and things like
Mhm.
that, and there was I died at the end of the show. Spoiler.
I know, spoiler
And
alert.
one thing that I don't tell a lot of people, but I had worked on the show for like 5 years before we got it to Broadway, and when I died, they would like smear this red gooey stuff on my face to make it look like I'd been shot. And my wife, like the woman who played my wife, sang this whole song, and then I died, and then they buried me while I was on stage, and had to go off stage and get showered to come back on stage for curtain call because they don't want you to come out on curtain call covered in blood. It's a little depressing. So they're like, clean it up. So I'd have to run backstage and take a shower really fast. And my dresser was standing up. I got this giant jar, and every single performance of the Broadway show, I would come off stage and smear some of the stuff off and smear it into the jar. I called it the bits of my character's name was Buck, and I called it the bits of Buck jar. And so I have my big souvenir from that show is this giant jar that's full of gooey blood that I had the whole cast and crew sign. I had signed the jar. I have this just weird jar that sits on on the bookshelf. My husband hates it, and
I'm back.
but it's my
You could
souvenir from the
you
show.
could
It's
you
a
could
little
team up
piece of
with Down at
every
Palp
single
Show and sell
performance.
it on eBay.
Oh,
Essence of clay in a jar.
a little tiny bit of clay from every single 15 years ago. More, gosh, when was that show? 16 years ago or something on Broadway. Use
Wow.
bias.
Oh. So, if you can, this may take you a second or two, give me a lovely, lovely sound bite about why people should come and see you in your cabaret show.
Yeah, this is great. This will take a second. What should I say? Okay. Hey there, my name is Claybourne Elder. You can come and see me at the Overture Center on November 6th. I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite backstage stories from Broadway, some of my favorite stories from working on The Gilded Age on HBO, and talking about my life as a ex-Mormon gay dad who came to New York to make it big. So come and see me. It's a funny, heartfelt night.
Perfect.
Okay,
That'll be the bite they'll use on all the PR.
great, 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 great.
I love it. I love it. Clay, thank you so much for taking time out and doing this. I cannot wait
My
to see and hear you next
I'm
month.
so glad. Will you come backstage after and say hi?
I would love to bring my husband
Okay,
back to meet you. I
perfect.
I would
All right.
adore that. I really would. And if
Yes.
there's anything you need to know about Madison, or place to go, what kind of food you want, who to see, what to do. I know you probably only have like 5 minutes in
I
between.
know it's so fast,
But but please reach out. I'd be happy to give you all the dirt that I know
thank
about my
you.
hometown.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Clay. Thank you
Of
so much.
course.
Have a rest wonderful day, and we'll
You too.
see you soon.
All right. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.